This week on South African Opportunities, we explore the wine industry in South Africa. With a recent international boom in sales, local winemakers are carving their own niche in the global market.
One of Africa's largest wine-producing companies in the region is Distel, listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange since 2005. Africa Report asked Andre Steyn, head of corporate affairs for Distel, about the history of the company.
Two very well-established companies in South Africa were merged to form Distel. On the merger itself, I think it's one of those 30% that have been successful. We've captured all the promises made to shareholders at the time. And the two components of the merger were the old Stellenbosch Farmers Winery, established in 1925, and Distillers Corporation, established by the well-known industrialist Dr. Anton Rupert in 1945, interestingly 3 years before he established his tobacco empire. So that's really the heritage of Distel. Right now, the major shareholders would be South African Breweries, or SAB Miller, holding 30%, KWV holding 30%, and Remgro holding 30%. We listed on the JSE, and we have a free float of 10%. It's not a situation that is sustainable, and plans are afoot to increase that free float to at least the minimum of 20% required by the JSE.
Distel has a significant domestic market share and plans to grow its export volume to Europe and the US. Chief winemaker Linley Schultz, originally from Australia, was specifically brought on board to achieve international market penetration.
They were looking for somebody who had international experience and had an understanding of the British market. Domestic market is fairly mature.
Both Steyn and Schultz described the Western Cape wine industry as unique.
In the Western Cape we have all these beautiful mountains, and as the mountains have degraded, they have at the base this degraded granite slopes, and each of them provides a unique microclimate for the vines to grow in.
This biodiversity is an indicator of the diversity of quality wines that could be produced and are increasingly being produced in the Cape wine industry, or South African wine industry. That's a unique asset. No one else in the world can emulate that or compete with that. That's an opportunity waiting to be properly exploited.
Sue Birch, CEO of Wines of South Africa, spoke to us about the unique export opportunities and recent changes to the wine industry.
Well, the last 10 years have seen South Africa emerge from an industry which didn't export, inward-looking, to a really dynamic and exciting player in the global market.
Distel expects its business to grow significantly over the next few years.
Well, I think what's particularly exciting about the South African wine industry per se, and that implies the brandy component of the wine industry, is the unique selling point that we do have, which is our biodiversity.
South Africa is basically an industry that goes back 350 years, but it's only 10 years old, because prior to democracy we couldn't export, our winemakers couldn't travel, it was an inward-looking industry with no growth. The growth has been exponential, the rise in quality has been exponential, our winemakers have travelled all over the world. We've become recognised as an exciting new player in the global marketplace.
South African wine producers are carving their own niche in the global market. Despite a strengthening local currency, producers have increased the number of cases sold internationally.
Our flagship international brand would be Amarula Cream Liqueur, which is probably the most widely distributed consumer brand, South African consumer brand in the world today. It's available in 96 countries throughout the world. That on the one hand, but also the wide diversity of brands and products that we do have in our portfolio, ranging from high volume products in the ciders or ready to drinks through to super premium wines and brandies.
Producers sold 7.6 million 9-litre cases of wine in all price categories in 2003, an increase of 227% over 2002.
definitely an increase in interest in South Africa, in investment coming in, ranging from small wineries, boutique wineries, leading French and German winemakers wanting to have their place in the special soil, to golf estates and more sort of leisure lifestyle investment. But it also seems that the big companies are really taking South Africa and our potential to deliver this great and exciting quality and the whole interest around wine tourism. So a lot of bigger companies starting to look at South Africa.
Sue believes that this aggressive growth can be attributed to a number of factors.
We've completely replanted most of our vineyards. Over half our vineyards have been replanted. We've changed from varieties that were grown mainly for brandy and for cheap, easy drinking wine to what's so-called noble varieties, to red varieties, so that today our vineyards are 55% white and 45% red. Our winemakers who weren't able to travel have travelled all over the world, done crushes at the best wineries, brought back all this knowledge. There's been an exponential rise in quality. New areas have been planted and they're really exciting, delivering really fabulous wine, even though the vineyards are young.
Also included is a growing visibility in key international markets, recognition from foreign trade and consumers of the value of South African wines, and an increase in wine tourism.
It's a matter of identifying growth opportunities, growth markets, predominantly for Amarula cream liqueur, but also for our portfolio of wines, and then selecting drive brands that are appropriate for each of those growth markets. We're doing particularly well in Scandinavia, Canada, Germany, and just entering the United States. It's a complex market, a challenging market, but we're very optimistic about our chances there.
The growth opportunities for South Africa are wine tourism, because we have the most beautiful winelands in the world. If people come here, they are completely seduced. They are drinkers for life of South African wine. So that's one opportunity. The other opportunity is new markets, the new markets of America, Canada, and emerging wine markets like India, where South Africa has a fantastic reputation, China, the East. Those are all opportunities for us. And finally, we have to grow our own local market and the market of Africa. It's on our doorstep.